Here we go. All right. So thank you all for being here. For those of you listening or watching the recording, this is my sister Ruth. Since I'm not allowed to do much with my foot, she is going to be demonstrating the practice today. And we're going to start on our backs. So lying face up here. And as far as props go, you might like yoga blocks and a blanket for the practice today. A strap is only needed if you have trouble reaching your foot in the quadricep stretch. So whatever position you'd like to be here, on your back, knees bent or straight, arms out, or maybe hands connecting with the belly and the chest. We'll be working on shoulder blade movement, upper back movement, and release of tension in the practice today. So I think rowers especially, but certainly all of us can hold some tension there, or even our posture can make things challenging in the upper back shoulder area. So hopefully most of you can get something out of this practice. Take these first few moments to bring your attention to your breath. And you're beginning to feel the belly, the chest, the ribs expanding as you inhale and softening as you exhale. Breathing through the nose. Start to lengthen and slow down your breathing. This is not big and effortful breaths, but keep some ease to it with that little bit of intention. This is the breath that we will use throughout the practice. And take the next few breaths, setting an intention for your practice. So recalling the reason why you've shown up today, why you rolled out your mat, why you set aside this time. It could be about reconnecting to your body, about slowing down, feeling better, becoming a better rower. Letting go of tension. None of that is speaking to you. Perhaps you dedicate your practice to others, someone or a group of people who might need your positive thoughts, your energy. So bring this thought or person to the front of your mind and breathe with intention. So, given that we have had some unusual snow and ice here in North Carolina and probably all of the East Coast, most of it, we're going to be doing some snow angels here. So you could straighten your legs or bend them, whatever feels comfortable. We're going to be doing just the arm part of the snow angels. So the arms start down by your sides, palms facing up, and we're sweeping the arms out to the sides and then up overhead. And see if you can keep contact with the floor with the arms or maybe the backs of the hands. And then once you get to the top, sweep them out to the sides and then back down to your hips. If you feel your low back arching up a lot, then go ahead and bend the knees. We'll inhale, sweep the arms out to the sides, up overhead. And then exhale, bring them back out and down again. And if you feel any pinchiness in the shoulders or pain, then your hands might come away from the floor and maybe hover over the floor there, or maybe you don't go into as much overhead position here. Let's do one more snow angel. Once your arms come back down by your sides, make your way onto your side. So coming into a fetal pose position, you can either bring the bottom arm underneath to support the head or folded blanket or a pillow there. The lower body is going to stay in this fetal pose position. The top arm is what's moving. And we're going to be pulling just the elbow back as opposed to the whole arm. So start with that top arm stretching out forward. And on your inhale, pull the top elbow back behind you. Let the chest and the gaze come up towards the ceiling. So you roll that back of the shoulder towards the earth. And then reach the arm forward. You could let it even come down on the ground and reach out a little bit more. So inhale, pull that elbow back, chest and gaze up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, reach it forward. You could kind of even roll towards your chest a little bit more. Let's do a couple more here. So we're getting that mid and upper back rotation with this movement. But see if you can feel the shoulder blade sliding forward as you reach forward and then pulling back towards the spine as you pull that elbow back. Good. One more here. And then when you're ready, we'll roll over to do this on the other side. Make sure you're supporting the head so that you're not holding the head up and straining through the neck. Hips and knees bent. That top arm reaching forward. And then on your inhale, pull that elbow back. Let the chest and gaze rotate up towards the ceiling. Good. And then reach the arm forward. And you could reach it a little bit more forward past kind of neutral here. And we'll do this a few times. So you're moving with your breath. And it might be a little bit tighter, stiffer on the first few, and then it'll probably start to loosen up, warm up a little bit. And don't be concerned if you're feeling or hearing a little clicking or a little crunchy sensation under the shoulder blade. That sometimes happens, especially in forward shoulder positions. We'll do one more here. Muscular attachments to the shoulder blades are strong shoulder joint stabilizers. Coming forward here, and then come up to hands and knees. And we've got some options here. You could use the blanket under your knees for extra padding. You'll have the knees under the hips, wrist under shoulders. The alternate hand positions are loose fist. You could be on your forearms on the floor or blocks to take the weight completely off your hands. So whatever variation you'd like here. We're going to be doing some cat and cow movements of the spine. So you're rounding through the back, tucking the chin, the tailbone under for cat. And then opposite, we lift the tailbone, belly down, chest forward for cow. And back and forth a few times here, rounding the back, pushing the floor away. And then when you come down to that cow, the shoulder blades towards the spine. So it's a similar movement at the shoulder blade. So maybe if you can kind of connect that thread of the shoulder blades moving forward, moving backwards here on the side and back ribs. And sometimes that movement is a little stiff and a little bit ratchety. And just working towards that smoothing out a little bit more. So you could keep it right here at this cat and cow. Or you could exaggerate the movement. So as you round the back, shift your hips back towards your heels. And then you'll come forward in this more exaggerated back bend. You'll drop the hips down, chest forward. So you're in the striking cobra, hips down, the feet might come up. And then exhale, round the back, shift the hips towards the heels. Inhale, shifting forward. You'll lower the hips, open the chest. If that's too much back bend or too much weight on the wrist, you could keep it more neutral. So one option is to keep going with this, or when you come into that back bend, pausing here, maybe bring your feet up off the ground so they're up towards the ceiling. Drop one hip towards the floor and look over the opposite shoulder. Yep. And then do the other side. Drop that hip, look over the opposite shoulder. The feet might sway a little bit side to side. Do that one more time each side. Come back to center and shift the hips back. Coming back to maybe a child's pose, hips over the heels, or puppy pose, which is hips over knees. Puppy as an alternative to child's to keep compression out of the spine if you've got lower bone density, herniated disc, hip or knee issues. And if the forehead doesn't rest easily here, you could stack the hands underneath it or slide a block, but try not to keep that tension in the neck. Taking a few breaths right here. Remember, you can rest at any time during the practice. It could be this pose or something else. You can modify, you can adapt, you can substitute for anything that I'm offering today. And I'll offer some of those options as we go. So listen for those and feel free to take any that I don't offer that your body needs. Coming back up here to hands and knees, or maybe the forearms if you're ready to take some pressure off of there. We're stretching one leg back and crossing it over to the opposite side. And you'll lower the foot, tuck the toes, and maybe look towards that foot. So you kind of peek around the shoulder. And then bring that knee back down under its own hip. And then we switch and do the other side. You'll inhale, stretch the leg across. Maybe look towards it. Open up the side body. Exhale, knee coming down again. And go side to side here a few more times. And you might even press out through the heel, sort of that toe rocking movement that we sometimes do from more neutral position. So you start to open up the calf and bend through the ankles and the toes, getting some of that good mobility that helps you in the catch position. And that, yeah. And maybe you pause and rock on that foot, hold that side body stretch. You could do the same on the other side. Good. And then bring that knee back down and tuck both toes under here. So just be mindful if your toes don't bend well or the knees don't like the deep knee bend, your movement will be smaller. You're shifting the hips towards the heels. And then shift forward again, hips over knees. We'll do this a few times. So you exhale to shift back. Inhale, shift forward. You're in charge of how big this movement and how much stretch you feel. Keep the stretch more comfortable, more mild to moderate, less intense. You could stay right here with this, or next time you shift back, you'll lift the knees and come into a brief down dog, reaching the hips up and back. And then we come back down, lower the knees, shifting forward. So exhale, shift back. Optional brief down dog. Inhale, lower. Let's do two more. Next time you come into the down dog, pausing. All right, adjust. So if you're tight through the backs of the legs, you might need to bend the knees a little bit. Hands are shoulder distance apart, fingers are spread. And then any movements that might help you find length in the spine, openness in the backs of the legs, like pedaling the feet, shaking the head, lift and lower the heels, a little wag of the tail, yeah. And down dog is a challenging pose, so if you need to come out of it, lower the knees, rest a little bit. We'll take a few more breaths. And eventually settling into some stillness here. You're looking forward and step the left foot between the hands. And it might need some help to get there. You could lower the back knee, left hand helps it. Well, I'll lower the back knee here to start. And you might want to put a block under your right hand just to create some more space, but it's not necessary. So if you remember that kind of elbow pull we did sideline, we're going to do that here. So start with your left hand down on the outside of the left foot. This is almost like a starting the lawnmower movement. So we'll inhale, pull the left elbow towards the ceiling, look towards the left, and then exhale, bring the hand back down. Do that again. Pulling up, that shoulder blade towards the spine. As you lower, shoulder blade away. You could stay here or lift your back knee and do the same thing. Couple more. We'll lower that hand back down to the floor and bring both hands to the floor. And we're stepping this into a plank. Lower both knees, so a knee down plank, and lower all the way down to the ground, elbows by the ribs. And now feel those shoulder blades, pull them towards your spine, the back waist, and peel the head and chest up off the floor. Here's your low cobra, but you could make it bigger, pressing up higher if that felt good to your shoulders, your wrists, your spine. Pull that low belly in, shift, lift your hips so you come to hands and knees. Tuck the toes, make your way into that down dog again. Or keep the knees down, take a few breaths here, maybe pedal the feet or shake the head. Looking forward this time, it'll be the right foot between the hands, helping it get there. Know where we're going. Could lower that back knee to start, or you could keep it up. We'll have a block under that left hand. Right hand starts down on the outside of the foot. Inhale, pull that right elbow up, gazing towards the right. Exhale, lower that hand down. A few more of these, this kind of flossing of the shoulder blade. Lots of muscular attachments here. Yeah, you could lift that back knee if you want. Between the spine and the shoulder blade in the back of the upper arm that are getting mobilized here. Next time that hand comes down, we'll leave it down. Either both hands down on the floor or blocks under both hands, and we're stepping the back foot to the front foot, finding a forward fold. Now this could be the ragdoll, knees bent, upper body draped over lower body. Hands could be on blocks or floor. Ruth is doing this nice one here where she's holding elbows, yeah. Or that one protective of the spine, feet out wider, butt back, forearms on the thighs. Either pose, you could sway a little bit, front to back, side to side. If you're in that ragdoll, you have more options of kind of holding elbows, shaking the head. But similar to down dog, you could add in little weight shifts or small little movements here that might feel good. Take another breath. Bend the knees, strong legs. Inhale, rise up to stand. You could reach up, palms meet overhead, and exhale, hands to prayer at your heart. Shake out your arms, shake out your hips, walk it off a little bit. We've made it up to standing. So If you have yoga blocks, I would put them at the front of your mat. If you don't have yoga blocks and you know that you are tight in your hamstrings or your back, you might want to bring a chair, so have like a chair seat in front of you. We'll start here at the front of the mat and take a big step back with your right foot for warrior one. So this means the heels are lined up with the respective sitting bones. The back foot is flat and turned out to 2 o'clock, front knee bent. So for a lot of us with tight hip flexors, this position gives us a big arch in the low back. See if you can lengthen the tailbone down towards the earth and pull that low belly in a little bit. Reach the top of the head up towards the ceiling here, relaxing the shoulders. We're going to reach both hands forward with the palms facing each other. So we're back to this elbow pull theme here with the left side. So on the inhale, pull the left elbow back, look towards the left chest and gaze that way. And then exhale, reach that arm forward. Do 3 more like that. The elbow pulls back. Try not to let that shoulder right up towards your ear. Good. On your next one, we're going to pause with the elbow back. Okay, you could stay here. This could be enough. Or you could straighten that left arm, reaching back, palm out. And then see if you can release the muscles that run between the shoulders and the neck. Sometimes you have to bring that back arm a little bit forward. Yeah. Breathe. All right, releasing that arm to the front. You could straighten the front leg and step your back foot in a little bit closer. Yeah, so both knees straight, straight-ish. Right, hips square to the front. Hands are on your hips here. Get taller, reach the top of the head up. If it feels good, arch from behind your heart, a little baby back bend. And then on your exhale, start to hinge forward from your hips, but pause before the back begins to round. We're pausing here for a few breaths. Adjust your hips. You can even use your hands. Pull the front hip back and back hip forward. Keep your hands on your hips and squeeze the elbows towards each other. Tuck your chin slightly. Firm the belly. Good. Breathe. So there's a lot of strength happening on the whole back of the body here. You could stay with this if you want more of that strength, or if you're ready for a little bit of a rest. You're going to fold forward, release your hands to the blocks or the floor, or this could be where you have a chair underneath your hands if this is feeling like too intense. You can always bend that front knee for a little less intensity here. I'm going to add a little sciatic nerve glide with this, and it's optional. So you're rocking back on the front heel. Yep. And then lower that foot. Inhale, lift or rock back on that front heel. Exhale, lower. If this is painful or you're like something's about to snap, don't add it in or make it really small. Or imagine you're doing it. One more. All right, bring that foot down, bend the front knee, and walk your blocks or your hands forward here. We're coming up into a supported warrior 3. So you're going to lift the back leg. You might need to keep a little bend or a generous bend in that front knee. Good. Push your back heel back. Firm the belly. Tuck the chin. Take a breath. And then lower that back foot back behind you so you end up in a lunge position. Step it way back. Bring the hands down to the floor. Step the front foot to the back foot so you're in a plank. You could lower the knees or keep them up and lower all the way down to the ground. Let's pause here and take a little break. So maybe hands under the forehead or turn your cheek, resting on the side of your head. Come back into that lengthened breath. Feel the belly, chest pressing into the floor as you breathe in, and the whole torso softening as you breathe out. Coming back to your intention for the practice. You could stay here longer, resting for more. Or bring the hands under your shoulders. Press yourself up to hands and knees. Tuck your toes, reach the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward. You could walk your feet or maybe hop them to the front. The forward fold. Bend the knees, strong legs. Inhale, rise up, reach up. Exhale, hands to prayer at your heart. Shake out the arms, shake out your legs, reset. We're going to do this on the other side. So make sure those blocks, you can stay where you are. Make sure your blocks are there at the front. And now we're going to take a big step back with your left foot. Thank you, Ruth. This is our, yeah, the warrior one. Your back foot is flat, turned out to 10 o'clock-ish. Front knee bent. Yep. And to get that sort of banana arch out of your low back, tailbone down, that's going to help engage the core, reach the top of the head up, and that engages muscles along the length of your spine here. We're reaching both arms forward, straight out from the shoulders, palms face each other. Now this one, we're going to pull the right elbow back. So right elbow towards the back wall, look towards the right, and then reach it forward here. We're going to do that 3 more times. Don't worry about how big the movement, or is it as much as it was on the other side. This is just about mobilizing that shoulder blade on the back ribs, plus that mid and upper back rotation. Next time we pause with that elbow back. Now just make sure your hips stay square to the front. You're not rotating through the hips. You could keep that right elbow bent or reach, straighten the right elbow, reaching back behind you. So Ruth's got a little bit more limitation on this side. She might keep that bent, or she's doing it out and in. So there's some options here. See if you can release the shoulders away from the ears. Breathe. We'll sweep both arms forward here again, and then bring the hands down to the hips. Straighten the front leg and step your back foot in a little closer. We're setting up for this pyramid pose position. Hips square to the front. Inhale, get taller. If it feels good, take that tiny back bend from behind the heart. On your exhale, start to hinge forward, but pause before the back rounds. Adjusting the hips for stability. Pull that front hip back, back hip forward. Firm the belly. Tuck the chin. Pull the elbows towards each other as if there was an elastic string pulling them behind your back. Take a few breaths. So we're strengthening some of those muscles between the shoulder blades and opening through the chest, front of the shoulders here. You could stay with this, or on your exhale, fold forward. The hands could come down to the blocks. Some of you might get your hands to the floor. Some of you might need the chair under your hands. And the other modification, if this is too intense, is bending that front knee. You could stay with this or that sciatic nerve glide on this side. So you rock back on that right heel and then lower. And it might be a tiny little lift. So that sciatic nerve runs from the buttocks down the back of the leg to the calf, all the way to the foot. So we're just giving it a little tug from that foot in and releasing, a little tug and releasing. Nerves don't like to be stretched and held in a stretched position, but they respond well to this little flossing, this little nerve gliding. All right, bring that foot flat. Bend the front knee. Walk your blocks or your hands forward, all the weight on the front leg, and the hands lift the back leg here. Supported warrior three. Jut out through the back heel as if this foot were holding the door closed behind you. Firm the belly, tuck the chin. Breathe. You might need a bend in that standing knee. All right. And then step that back foot all the way to the back of the mat. Hands to the floor around that front foot. Step this back into a plank. And knees down or up. Exhale, lower all the way down to the ground. Let's take a little break here. Hands under forehead or rest your cheek on the floor. It might feel good to wiggle the hips or bend the knees and rock the legs side to side. So I have these standing yoga poses. There's so much going on. And then I like to add my little spin of the shoulder blade movements or pulling the elbows. But so much strengthening through the core, so much intrinsic foot strengthening, posture work, spinal muscle strengthening, all good things that keep your hips and spine in a good position in the drive phase and in the finished position of your stroke. You could stay here resting. You might feel like you need it at this point, or this twisting cobra. So this is when you bring your arms out to the sides, elbows point up towards the ceiling, and you're up on tinted fingers or spider fingers here. And then tailbone towards the feet. Inhale, lift the head and the chest. On your exhale, you lower one shoulder and turn your head away. Inhale, lift up through center. Exhale, lower the other shoulder, turning your head away. Go back and forth. So this is a lot of mobility in the spine, the shoulder blades, and the neck. Your movements might be smaller. We'll bring it back in through the center. Bring the hands underneath your shoulders. Press up to hands and knees. Make your way to downward facing dog. And then from here, walk your hands towards your feet. So you're coming into a forward fold at the back of your mat. Bend the knees and strong legs. Inhale, rise up to stand. You could reach up or you could roll those shoulders back and down. And letting the arms come down here when you're ready. Shake out the shoulders, shake out your hips a little bit. We're going to work on balance. And if you're on a squishier mat or a rug, you might step off it. You might come over and have a hand on the wall here. This is our balance beam, our tightrope position. So we are stepping one foot directly in front of the other. Put a tiny bend in both knees. And I'm changing up a little bit here. So I want you to reach that free hand forward and hold up your index finger. So keep your gaze focused on the index finger. Gaze stays focused, but you turn your head side to side. Yeah. And it could be small little head turns here. You might have that hand on the wall. It's kind of surprising when you start to turn your head how much harder it is that you have to work here with your feet and ankles. All right. Bring that head back to center. Arm comes down, straighten your legs. Remember which foot is in front. Shake out your legs, shake out your ankles, roll the shoulders. And we're going to do this with the other foot forward. All right, tiny bend to both knees. That just gives you one more joint here to react with. And then that free hand comes forward, index finger up. focus your gaze on the index finger. So keep your eyes on the index finger, but turn your head side to side. It's a little different from how I usually do this one, where we just turn the head and the gaze. So at least I'm giving you the gaze you can stay focused on here. But we're still messing with your inner ears, and that's why your feet and ankles are having to work so hard. So this is working on your balance and your stability when you're having to look behind you to see where you're going, especially when you're in the single. Yeah. All right, come back to center, come up, shake it out, shake it out. And if you had to step out, or if you had to use your hand, that's okay. That's you just using some of your balance reactions. All right, coming to the back of the mat. Yeah, actually, before we do that, find the wall again. We're going to do a little chest stretch. So wall or doorway works for this. You're going to bring your palm and your forearm up on the wall. Make sure your elbow is a little lower than your shoulder. And then you're going to take, or imagine the palm and the forearm are suction cupped to the wall, and you're going to take baby steps turning away from the wall. So you start to open the chest and the front of the shoulder. So you're just rotating as opposed to stepping out. Yeah. And then pause when you feel that stretch in the front of the chest. And if it's too much, go in, go back a little bit. And then remind that shoulder to stay released away from your ear. In fact, remind both shoulders. And breathe. So opening through that, those pecs, front shoulder muscles, and all the fascia through there. All right, turn towards the wall, let it go, shake out that arm, and we'll do the other side. So the other arm, palm, forearm on the wall, suction cupped elbow is a little lower than your shoulder. And then you're taking tiny, small little steps, rotating away from the wall, just until you feel the stretch in the front of the chest, the shoulder. Remind the shoulders to relax. Remind yourself to breathe. Sometimes when we stretch through the chest, we lose that cue to take a breath in, because when we open that chest, our body feels like we've taken a breath in, and then we'll tend to hold the breath. One more inhale and exhale. And then letting this go. We'll come down to the floor. So we're coming to a seated position. And you might want the blanket under your hips just for a little bit of elevation. And if it is hard for you to sit on the floor, even with support under your hips, I would say come to sit on the front edge of a chair. And you could either be in cross-leg position, you could be in a straddle position here. And we're going to stretch some of these muscles on the front of the neck. So I'm going to have you take one hand and put it on your chest just below the collarbone. So on the opposite side. So it'll be right hand on left, or chest, or vice versa. So this hand is going to anchor muscle, skin, fascia here. So kind of pull, almost like the hand is suction cupped. Again, pull that skin on your chest down towards the earth. And then tip the chin up and turn the head away from your hand. Now you can play with the position of the head. You might turn more, chin up or down more. You might tilt the head towards the side a little bit. And maybe you find a sweet spot and hold it. Or maybe you just take these fine little movements here and feel all the different angles of stretch. Or maybe you find one position and swallow. We're also stretching through some of the swallowing muscles that can get kind of tight and bound down, especially in forward head positions. And we'll bring that head back to center, release the hand. Take a backward shoulder roll or two. See if it feels different between the sides. And of course, we'll do the other side. So other hand on the chest. You're just below the collarbone here. Lots of muscular fascial attachments. So that hand is suction cupped to the skin and you pull down. And yeah, you could use two hands here if you wanted to. Lift the chin up, turn the head away. Remember, you could play with this. Sometimes when I tilt my head over more, I get that stretch kind of coming behind my ear or between the shoulder and the neck. Chin up, I feel it a little more centrally. You can keep moving or find a spot, hold and breathe, or add a swallow or two and see how that changes the sensation of the stretch. So especially coming back into the finish phase of the stroke, you might be staying in a little bit of a forward head position, which can make these muscles a little bit tighter, or you might even be leading with your head to come out of the finish, making these muscles tighter. You can release, roll the shoulders, maybe turn your head left and right, see how that feels. And then we are going to come on to our bellies. So face down, belly down. You might want an unfolded blanket under your hips for where we're going. Maybe unfold it one more time, Ruth, so it's not as big underneath your hips there. So first we're coming into a quad stretch. And you'll bring one arm under the forehead here, and then bend the other knee, reach back for it with the hand, finding the foot or the ankle. You might have to lift the head to get it, but then see if you can lower that head back down. This might be a place you need a strap, or sometimes holding the hem of your pants is another option that's easier than lassoing the strap around the foot. Lengthen the kneecap towards the foot of the mat, and this will start to get all four of the quads stretching, plus some of your hip flexors stretching here too. Remember to breathe. Letting this foot go, and we'll repeat on the other side. And most of us are going to find there's one side tighter than the other. It's usually your stronger leg, I think, that's tighter, but there might be other reasons, knee joint reasons or old injuries. Lengthen that kneecap towards the foot of the mat. Breathe. Rowing is a very quad dominant exercise. So always be stretching those quads when you get out of the boat, off the erg, and I would say at least 2 or 3 other times during the day. This is one variation of quad stretch. You can let that foot go. We're going to set up for locust pose. Now, if you have some arthritis in the lower back or you have a lot of tension in the lower back, this may not be the best pose for you. If you have arthritis, stenosis, you could do the same thing with a pillow under your belly, or you could roll onto your back and do bridge pose instead. So we're going to come into cactus arm position here, or W arm position. So elbows are bent here, palms face down towards the earth. Protective of the low back, lengthen the tailbone towards your feet so you feel the pubic bone press into the floor. And then keep that pubic bone anchored down. Lift the head and the chest and the arms up off the ground. Gazes forward and down. Stay here or raise the legs, keeping the tailbone lengthening towards your feet. And then we lower it all down. We're going to do some reps. Inhale, lift, head, chest, arms, maybe legs, shoulder blades squeezing slightly. Exhale to lower. Good. 2 more like that. So we're working those upper back muscles. We're really working the whole back of the body from the base of the skull to the feet. And then we get a couple of rotator cuff muscles in here with this cactus arm position. After that 4th one, lower down and rest. You could turn your head, you could bring your arms in closer, maybe wiggle those hips a little bit just to release tension that you might have built in the lower back or buttocks or both. You might be thinking, do I want to do another set of these? And maybe you don't. Maybe your body doesn't, and you stay here and rest and breathe. Or you could do a second set here, different arm position. This time, let's bring the arms forward like you're in Superman. Palms down. Lengthen the tailbone towards the feet. And we're lifting the head and chest. And as you do that, pull the elbows back, come back into that cactus or W position. Maybe raise the legs here too. And then exhale, lower, reach forward. Good. 3 more reps. We inhale, lift, pull the elbows back. Exhale, lower, reach it forward. Good. 2 more. Or if you're like, Laura, this is enough, you can just stay here and rest and curse me under your breath. So many good things happening here as far as strength and opening the front of the body. Posture strengthening. All right, lower down after this next one. Rest the head. Hip wiggle or bend the knees. Rock the legs side to side. That little windshield wiper motion. Y'all have been working really hard here with this one. So let's give you some reward. We're going to be doing the upper back relaxation or the scapular muscles relaxation. So we're going to use 2 yoga blocks or 2 rolled blankets or 2 rolled up pillows, and they're going to come under the front of your shoulders. So they're snuggled in pretty close to your rib cage. You could decide how it feels with your arms out to the sides or down by your sides. I always prefer the down by my side one, but it's up to you. Now, what I should have said, Ruth, and I can offer this here, you could put a folded blanket under your forehead if you want to, if you want to keep your neck in neutral, or you could turn your head to the side. But make sure the neck is comfortable here. Once you get here, and you might need to make a few adjustments, let it go. And by that, I mean soften. Let your body accept the support of the props under the shoulders, the earth underneath you. Let these props push your shoulder blades towards your spine so that the muscles that run between the shoulder blades and the spine on each side get to relax. Those muscles are neither stretched nor are they being contracted. So there's no force put on them, no tension from stretch, no tension from muscular contraction happening here. So this is like the off switch position for that upper back. So if you get fatigued or achy or painful, or sometimes I get trigger points in the upper back. So it's one of the positions where I can find some relief. Take a few more of those lengthened breaths here. And returning your thoughts to your intention for the practice. This reason you've shown up or the people you're dedicating your practice to. Just bringing it back to the front of your mind. Take another 3 or 4 breaths here. You could certainly stay for longer if this is feeling good to you. But when you're ready, you'll take the props out from under your shoulders and make your way onto your back. So go ahead and bend the knees and lift your hips up and over a couple of inches left of center. And walk your feet over a couple of inches left of center. Cross your left thigh over the right. And bring the arms out to the sides, palms up, and drop both legs over to the right. Coming into the spinal twist. Now this can get intense quick. And if it feels like too much, untangle the legs or slide a yoga block under your legs here so they have something to rest into. Or find your favorite variation of the twist. Gaze is up or head turned away from your legs. Are you holding on? Are you fighting? Are you tensing somewhere here in your body? And is there a part of this that you can let go of? Maybe it's in the legs or the hips or the back. Maybe you're clenching your jaw. Use your abdominal muscles, untangle the legs and slowly pull the knees up to center. And then you're going to lift your hips up and over a couple of inches right of midline, and the feet go over there too. And then you'll do right thigh over left, drop the legs over to the left. So this can be a lot of stretch, outer hips, side waist, back, chest. If it's too much, untangle the legs or put a prop underneath both legs so you have something to rest into. Or do your favorite variation of this recline twist. Gaze up or just a gentle, easy head turn away from the legs. Yeah, make any adjustments that allow you to find more ease in this pose. Untangle the legs, use your abs, pull the knees up through center, getting those hips and legs back into center again. And decide if there's something you'd like to do here before relaxation, hip stretch, bridge, a wheel, inversion, happy baby. Thinking about how you'd like to set up for Shavasana. Maybe you go back to that belly down, props under the shoulders. Maybe you just stretch your legs out, knees bent, legs up the wall. Maybe you cover up with a blanket, put some socks on. Sometimes hands connecting with the belly or chest feels kind of grounding and comforting. Or maybe you feel like you have cultivated some openness in your shoulders and your chest and you'd like your arms out to the sides. Once you find yourself settling in, take an inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale, audible sigh. And do that again. And let that breath go. Allowing your body to rest for the next few minutes. Remember, you could stay here longer, resting more, but when you're ready to move on, start to deepen the breath. Invite some gentle movements at the feet, the hands, turning the head. Maybe it's a fuller body stretch, reaching the arms overhead, legs out, and then letting that go. Bend the knees and roll to your side. Pause for a moment here, maybe support the head. Continuing those bigger breaths, appreciating your body, your breath, your health, your yoga practice. Being gentle, press up to a seated position. So I've been ending my classes with this variation of the loving kindness prayer. It feels especially fitting for these times. May you feel safe. May you be free from suffering. May you feel loved. May all beings everywhere feel safe. May they be free from suffering. May they feel loved. Thank you all for being here. Namaste.